Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Om Namaste. So we are following the recap of Swami Paramarthananda for this verse 26 and 27, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And we have gone a few pages into that class of Swamiji. It's very practical, very nice. So we have enjoyed it last class, I remember. Now, the way we do our Nidhidhyasanam. Mental attitudes, emotional attitudes, anything that is going to facilitate our transfer from the triangular sadhana mode to the binary one, And then he spoke about abhibhavaha. It means that the problem remains, but the problems do not have the power to really overpower you, understand? It's like the sun. He gives us the example, the sun. It's shining during the day. The stars are there, but the sun has the power to overshadow the stars. And likewise, we need to remember that we have a sun within, which is the light of knowledge, the light of consciousness. Once we are in touch with this light, now it's going to overpower those impurities or those challenges or those parabadas which are somehow adverse, So in a way that the problems of life remain there, but I don't need to erase all problems in my life or in the world. So they remain there exactly like the stars remain there during the day, but they don't have the power to shine and disturb my mind. So this is a very nice analogy presented in this passage here. We do not have to remove the stars, but the star's light is overpowered by the sun. The sun, it's our sun, which brings us physical light, is a beautiful analogy, Vedantic analogy, representing the self-consciousness. So the sun is there, and it's going to somehow shine, and we move our direction to this light of consciousness, and then from that perspective, we identify with it. We claim it to be our true nature, and then we're going to transact in the world, and the problems remaining there, they are not going to have the power to overpower us, in the sense that disturb our mind. The problems will be there, but overshadowed by the new perception of myself. How beautiful, So the problems are there, but I know my true nature is consciousness. So no problem has the power to really affect me as consciousness. And this knowledge, as we know, is only good as it fructifies as vairagya, indifference to whatsoever parabada we are facing, certainty, that I am fundamentally free from this world and from this body-mind instrument, is going to give a lot of strength to the very body-mind instrument, which is somehow still affected, but not as badly, because now it understood its true, fundamental, free, and independent nature as consciousness. Similarly, Vedanta does abhibhava of the ego's problem. So the mind is going to have a problematic tendency, and then it's going to be suffering from disturbance, perturbations, emotional perturbations. And these problems, which is represented here as the ego's problem, the identification and the useless effort to try to control one's prarabdha, So the ego is suffering because it's not accepting things as they are, as we know. And not that the ego must be absolutely, I would say, irresponsible in regards to what needs to be done, but does what needs to be done, but without much expectations. This is, now we learned that from Karma Yoga. And then all these problems of the ego, of the mind, become insignificant. They become very small in front of the understanding Aham Brahmasmi, my nature, which is Purnatvam. Yeah? I have discovered my true identity nature, and now I feel this emotional, psychological, mental balance, strength, Swami Paramarthananda presents as the real fruits of self-knowledge. And I do my upasana, my nidhidhyasana for that, for developing this abhibhava, which is a certain power to overshadow the problems of life. I look at every problem of the mind. Now he shifted the problem from the world to the mind, fundamentally it's the mind. I look at every problem of the mind and see them for what they are. Insignificant to the extent that is as good as non-existence. Like what? Like the stars during daytime. They are as good as absence. So it's there, but it does not do anything because they are overshadowed by the light of the sun. Likewise, the stars, meaning to say our mental process, problematic mental process, they are overshadowed by the understanding of one's true nature as consciousness, limitless, free, and independent. That's said as the Nidhidhyasana. And once I change my perspective, the so-called problems of the mind of the world are no more problems. And therefore, the anxiety that those problems came with, the anxiety is no longer there. My future continues to be unpredictable. Nobody controls the field. In fact, everybody's future is unpredictable. Even Ishwara, I think he has said sometime, maybe in the past here, some verse before, even Ishwara does not have the power to control prarabdha, on a universal level. Why? Because it's governed by a certain law, which is karma, which is linked to jivas, attitudes, words, and deeds. So nobody can really control and predict the future. Nobody's sure whether we're going to be alive tomorrow. Do not worry about tomorrow. Do not feel like that. The whole life is indeed unpredictable, including the life of Ishwara, and of course the Jñanis. If he's starting a big ashram, for example, now he talks about the guru, Jñani's guru. Not every Jñani must be a guru. Not every Jñani must start a community or an ashram or a sangha. But here he brings up the teaching guru, the teaching Jñani. If the teaching Jñani begins an ashram, so the result is, of course, unpredictable. Jñani's life is more unpredictable because it has dependent upon public. Therefore, both remaining the same previously, the unpredictable gave me an anxiety. But now the very same unpredictably does not give me anxiety. And we can go to the extent to say the unpredictably of the world, especially nowadays that we are living in a world that seems to be going through a process of collapse or deconstruction. You know, I mean, it's not only, it may not bring anxiety or fear, but it may even bring us, how you say, excitement and curiosity. See, oh my God, look at that. Things are no longer boring in this planet, you know? Anything can go in any direction right now. Isn't it, Lynn? So this is called fruits of self-knowledge, Jnana Palam. Jnani's, Jnani's peace of mind is not because everything is okay in one setup. It's not because the future is under control. Jnani's freedom from anxiety, Jnani's peace of mind is not because any effort to control the Dharma field, but is in spite of the unpredictability, unpredictability of the Dharma field. So in spite of everything, the Jnani enjoys a sense of freedom and peace. And it's so simple to live that way, but at the same time, it's not easy. So what makes the Jnani not to experience a disturbed mind all the time, concerned about the future and trying to control and trying to manipulate and with anxiety and so on? The very word anxiety points to it, you know. It's a sense, a habit of trying to anticipate the future, you know? Anticipate the future. Just imagine if tomorrow comes a voice from the sky saying to everybody on this planet, saying, okay, you guys did not do very well. I'm going to put an end to this civilization, you know, and I'm going to send some cosmic force, and I'm going to destroy this civilization as I have done in the past, you know. And then everybody hears that, and then the internet talks about that, the TV talks about that, the end of the world. Okay, so the young is going to hear that, and it's going to forget. It's not going to be anticipated that now the end is coming. You understand? So what brings anxiety and psychological disturbance is the tendency of being anticipating and concerned, preoccupation about what's going to be happening tomorrow. So how we cancel this tendency of preoccupation and concern about what's going to be tomorrow? And then comes someone in the spiritual field of this planet, and he says, oh, you have to stay here and now. And then a lot of people buy these books, and then they make an effort to stay here now, here now, here now. So I'm not going to think about the future. I'm not going to remember my past. No, it's not like that. If you do that, you're not going to be able to function even in society. But you have to project, make some plans, but deep inside, you have no anxiety about the fruits of your actions, you know? And how you're going to have such a mind? You're going to have such a mind only only if you have self-knowledge, because only self-knowledge is going to allow one's mind to be pacified in spite of very, very challenging times. You understand? You need self-knowledge. There's no other way. Yoga may help a little bit, you know. Why? Because for as long as you are doing your sadhana, so you control your mind is not going all over the place, being concerned and preoccupied and so on, because you are doing your yoga. But how long can you stay day in, day out, controlling your mind? Self-knowledge is going to simply take care of the problem on a fundamental level, because the knowledge of one's true nature makes it in a way that the mind is here and now without having to put up any effort, you understand? Still doing some planning, doing some prep, doing this, doing thing. Oh, I heard that the end is coming next month. Okay, so nothing has changed. Now one goes, takes care of the chicken and this and that, you know? And if the end comes, it came. like Shmayananda said. So if it comes, it's going to be great fun because we're going to go all together to heaven. Just imagine what a part up there. Everybody living the physical realm, and you know. And this is called Jiva Mukti, and this Jiva Mukti you can enjoy only if you do this exercise. What exercise? It's applying the teachings, observing your life situations again and again in the light of these teachings. This is application of knowledge. No? I got a question from a student of mine that I'm going to address tomorrow in the Brazilian satsang, which is about that. I have this knowledge, the knowledge is clear and this and that, but somehow uh, I'm not really enjoying the fruits of this knowledge because I have a lot of impurities, a lot of bad behavior, or she said, you know, I'm far from being a saint, you know, I have a lot of reactions. So you need to be as honest to say that openly. This person said that openly to the satsang of tomorrow. You know, that's the first thing, to admit that. And then applying the teachings again and again. So what is the indication of someone in that situation? You have the knowledge, but the knowledge is on your conscious mind, but did not really develop those roots in the causal mind, the subconscious mind, and you are still responding to what's coming from your parabada, from those elements which are still there seated in the subconscious mind. And then it feels that, you know, oh, so am I self-realized? Am I not, you know? So what kind of confusion is there, you know? That will make a good satsang for tomorrow. In the light of these new teachings, you have to see one's life situation, see how you react, and apply these teachings. This process is called Nidhidhyasanam. Look back, sit in meditation, even, you know, in the silence of your meditation room, recall the past situations of your life and observe as you, the way you have responded emotionally, verbally, and physically. Yeah? And this integrity is going to allow you to see where you are and remember the teachings again and again. Remember that the Vedantic meditation in Nidhidhyasana is not a no-mind state. It's not looking for mystical experiences. Nidhidhyasana is not going to bring a new flow of bliss, ananda. Do not expect any experience, nothing to happen when you do the Vedantic Nidhidhyasana. It's none of that. It is looking back at myself and the world, you know, recollecting my past experience, and then in the light of this teaching, make some intellectual corrections. I say, oh, I have responded this and that way because, you know, I was still under the spell of ignorance, and there was still some residual ignorance that compelled me to respond in that way. And this is absolutely natural. You know, this ignorance is very profoundly hardwired. And we need to accept that, you know. The self-knowledge begins in the conscious mind, but the fruits of self-knowledge is going to be enjoyed only to the extent that this self-knowledge, you know, grows in the subconscious mind as well. And if it doesn't, don't feel like, oh my God, what a confusion, there is a paradox here, oh, but Vedanta doesn't work. No, I mean, it's not easy, you know. It's not easy to reprogram our vasana body, you know, the body of vasanas, our vasana load, so that we can have them working for us 24/7. Well, Okay. It's like relooking at myself and my experience in the world in the light of the teachings, which changes the perspective and the response, and therefore there is peace of mind. It's going to change my perspective when I see the world from the perspective of Aham Brahmasmi, I am limitless consciousness. And then I'm going to see the world from a different angle perspective, and my response, the response of the body mind, consciousness does not offer any response. The response of the body mind are going to be benefit from this objectivity or this perspective from standing in awareness, consciousness as consciousness, and then somehow the body mind is benefit by that. And then the body mind's response is going to come with the fragrancy of peace, shanti, and strength and elegance and empathy and so on. In Bhagavatam, the scripture describes how Krishna looked at the Yadavas fighting, quarreling, and killing one another. Krishna sees right in front of his eyes the sapam coming through. You know the story how the sapam came. I don't know. Maybe you guys know, but we're going to infer it here. You know how the sapam came, that you were going to fight and die. And Krishna is the Lord himself. And Krishna could not stop this family war, fights. And he had to see members of his family fight and die one by one. Soon he is also going to join the majority. He's going to fight and die as well, be shot. Bhagavatam describes Krishna's perception of that events. Leaning on a tree with his hands on the tree, he looks at the whole event and offers a smile. It is a choiceless situation and he's powerless. Even Bhagwan is powerless when karma comes into unfoldment. Bhagwan, omnipotent, omniscient Krishna, facing a choiceless situation, sees the event of every family member dying one by one, as they say in Tamil. They fought and they died. And what was Krishna's response? A smile. How beautiful, huh? I mean, a smile. Why? Wow, Ishwara. So you and your loss, huh? I cannot really play with your lives. I'm impotent. I'm helpless. There is nothing I can do. All I can do is to see it, what's going on in the world, and say, so be it. There will be suffering, but so be it. And what else can we do? Huh? So Krishna responded with a smile. Not that he's very happy about that level of ignorance that brought about such a level of brutality. Nobody's happy to see such a dense ignorance manifesting as so much suffering. But the thing is, he looks at the situation and he sees that he's powerless, he's impotent. It happened. And where there is a choice, Krishna would certainly take an action. There is still certain power. And then you take action to try to offset ignorance or to offset the adharma forces, So if you want to do something, you have to try to fight the adharmic people, adharma forces, adharmic force. So, but sometimes things come to such a level that things have to just follow through and manifest with whatsoever level of suffering it will produce. It's all karma, So Krishna, if there was something he could do, he would do it. Therefore, Jñani does not take an action where it has to be. Jñani does take an action where it has to be. Jñani does accept when it's choiceless. This is beautiful. This is defined exactly the way I see myself in the process of the past 4 years. You understand? We have been living in a war. A war is a war of narrative, of information. And I try to get a little bit into that, and I say it's useless, and then I stay out because this thing is going to follow through and manifest howsoever the Lord has designed it. So the ability to accept it as a choiceless parabada, an unstoppable parabada. There is a moment that you have to just surrender to the situation. So the changes were not in the world, not in the people, not in the body, but in the way we perceive the events, in the way we respond. And this Shanti Krishna talks about in the 27th verse, Krishna says, Uttamam Shukam Apaiti. This Jñani then enjoys the highest ananda, contentment, purnatva. It's not an ordinary sukham born out of external circumstance, favorable circumstance. But it's not an ordinary sukham born out of an external changing, unpredictable factor, but it is an ananda born out of the knowledge that ananda is my very nature. Satchitananda, Purna. So this is the ultimate satisfaction, peace, or ananda. Is ananda, a peace or satisfaction that does not depend on the circumstance of the world, it's just born out of the certainty of knowledge in respect to my true nature as ananda itself, peace, security, satisfaction. When Krishna used the word I, the word does not mean to the physical I, not the emotional I, not even the intellectual I. The I, the Atma is Purna. I am Purna, says Krishna. This peace is born out of this knowledge. I am Purna. The body mind is not Purna. The physical body is not Purna. The emotional body is not Purna. The intellectual mind is not Purna. Only the Atma, the self, is Purna, and I am that self. It is that peace that passes common understanding. So what type of Jñani? Not the one who has done Shravana, Manana alone. Wow, this is beautiful. It serves to my Brazilian Portuguese satsang tomorrow. Not the Jñani that has done Shravan and Manan. I tell my people in Brazil, they like to do Shravan and Shravan in the weekend, and they think that this is enough. No, it's not enough. So I have been inviting them to do Manana as a homework and to present questions, and nobody seems to be present questions. Either everybody is already fully self-realized, or they somehow believe that Shravana during the weekends is more than enough, is more than what they can offer. The Jñani, that kind of Jñani did not stop on Shravana. It has gone into Manana. Manana must follow Shravana. Manana is the first homework, contemplation, reflection that's so rare, so very rare Vedantins do, But the Jñanis enjoying this ananda that pass the common understanding of the samsaris has not only done Shravana, he did Manana on the first level of homework, but he's struggled and used this Vedanta knowledge to look into every aspect of his life, the way he's responding, because he wants to make sure that this knowledge has been properly internalized to the extent that I am transformed. We want this transformation, this inner transformation. I mean, otherwise we are just more intellectuals, more academics that just want to have the rational knowledge And we don't care to the fruits of this knowledge. We don't even believe. One time, one person contacted me. I think I shared that with you guys in the past. And then in the internet, blah, 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 I say, oh, you teach Vedanta. You teach, your Vedanta is a guru. You are a guru teacher, or you are academic teacher? And then I understood what he was trying to say. I said, no, I am a guru teacher. I'm not an academic teacher. Ah, okay, never mind. You like to teach enlightenment, these things, da, da, da. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. I'm looking for an academic teacher. And that's all right. This is honesty, you know. The person most probably does not believe in these fruits of academic knowledge. This academic intellectual knowledge must fructify, and that is possible through a intense process that Swamiji presents as a struggle, you know, to look into one's situation of life, every aspect of the way I respond to life, and in the light of these teachings, you know, and seeing where I'm falling short, and you know, where I'm under the power of the influence of too much raga, or if it is, you know, too much dvesha, if I am having too much tamoguna on influence my mind. So you have to look at every aspect, understand why I'm still, you know, responding this way, you know, and there is no other way but to look at those shortfalls. I don't know if it is the expression, and remember the teachings until these teachings, they remain firm and alive in our mind when we mostly need them. Yeah. Here there is something about Carnatic music. Now you have to go, and then I don't understand very much clearly this analogy that he brings. This knowledge has to go to the subconscious mind in a way that the background, you have that tone, you know, and this knowledge, the knowledge is in the background of your mind, yeah, and you still live through your life, but in the background you have the knowledge which was firmly established in the subconscious mind. If anybody has a better description of this passage in the Carnatic music, I would appreciate it.
I think the swara is a pitch or a tone in the music. So he's saying you have to dig down and do something elemental, change the nature of something. In the next sentence, change the shape of the whole. Every brick needs rearranging.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have to rearrange your mind, your thoughts, your attitudes, you know, and your values. I mean, no wonder. You see, we are just a few here, and very, very, very few people take up this challenge, you know, of fighting. Swami presents as a struggle here. Similarly, in my life, if my life has to be transformed, every thought in my mind has to be scrutinized and changed. My life consists only a series of thinking. What is sorrow? It is a thought. What is jealousy? It's a thought that has a certain feel to it. It is a thought. What is frustration? It is a thought that has, again, a feel to it. You know, I would like so much, I want so much something, and I'm not getting what I want, you know? And so how you define your life is purely joining the bundle of thoughts that you entertain every moment, right from the morning until when you begin with your cough. Of course, you respond by a thought. That is your life. One thought is not your life, but your life is nothing but all the thoughts put together. The mind is nothing but all the thoughts put together on a superficial level. If you have to change the building, the bricks of your mind, yeah, you need to do this work, rearranging the bricks. Yeah? If you have to change your life, your very thought process has to change. Your very thought process has to change, which is a challenging, time-consuming process that very rare Vedantins are ready to take upon. And Jñani, who enjoys this ananda, which is difficult to be understood by the Jñanis, did that. So much effort and time has to be put aside for this accomplishment. It's accomplishment. What are you going to accomplish? I'm going to accomplish that I am consciousness. No, nobody accomplished that, because consciousness is your true nature. You're going to accomplish some mental purity, or in other words, a hard and fast present self-knowledge, well established in the subconscious mind, so that it can protect you. So the benefit of all of that is to enjoy a beautiful state of mind in spite of whatsoever conditions of the Dharma field. It's the only benefit there is, you understand? Without entering in any mystical or esoteric thing, the benefit is just that Swami puts in the most simple language. He says a mental, emotional balance or strength that allows the Jñani to deal with difficult situations, with equilibrium, with balance, yeah, with a smile, without losing one's viveka. Therefore, Krishna describes this Jñani, prasantha manasam, the one whose mind is free from negative thought processes in the form of anxiety, fear, jealous, anger, desires. Every unhealthy thought he has consciously and deliberately handled. So one has to look at every one of these mental, emotional tendencies, and handle it. But how I'm going to handle it? It's something that is so deeply rooted. When I see I'm responding with that kind of attitude, with that kind of thought, with that kind of emotion. Yeah? So how am I going to handle that? There is no other way. I mean, you cannot really work on your unconscious mind. You have a conscious mind. The conscious mind can only work on the conscious level, affirming and reaffirming your true nature, understanding these teachings, always in the hope that these teachings are going to grow roots in the subconscious mind and neutralize those ignorance-based vasanas that are somehow creating trouble and creating a split between what you know and the way you live your life. You have to work it on the conscious mind by doing manana and nidhidhyasana, and not only shravanam. Not about no mind, no thoughts. These thoughts are undisturbing thoughts. You don't need to handle the no mind, the silence, the peace. Yeah? In fact, for 1 hour, you are listening to this class 3 times a week. We do that, during which your mind has to entertain these Vedantic thoughts. So we must take each one of these words. I'm presenting ideas to you, and those ideas are generated in your mind in the form of what? Of thought. So he's just emphasizing that there is no point of trying to resolve the mind by creating a state of no thought. No thought is not going to do anything about oneself ignorance. You need a thought to neutralize those thoughts which are based on self-ignorance. So is this Aham Brahmasmi, are these Upanishadic thoughts a burden to you? Does it make you sad and depressed or angry? So is it a burden? No, it's not, he says. If it was a burden, if it was really painful, you would not come to the class again and again. Yeah? Just imagine 1 hour suffering those thoughts, Vedantic thoughts. No. Thought is not samsara. You need to eliminate any thought. That's why wise men described, no, thought is not samsara. Okay, thought is not samsara, not necessary. Okay, we have thoughts which are expressions of wisdom, and we have thoughts which are expressions of total ignorance. Okay, so we cannot eliminate all the thoughts as people in the yoga suggest. You need to neutralize those negative thoughts or re-educate those negative energies, you know? And because the problem is not the thought, the problem is the ignorance that is dominating your thought process. So, and that is what the wise man is described in the 12th chapter, is a man of compassion. Compassion is a feeling thought, no? That smile of Krishna when he saw his family being destroyed is a compassion, is a thought pattern, and compassion is not samsara. Love is not samsara. Generosity is not samsara. Samsara is something that disturbs the mind. Burdening thoughts are replaced by thoughts of wisdom, which are not going to create suffering. You see, every thought has with it a feel, a sensation, an emotion. Everything is energy, verb. In the beginning, there was the verb, the words. Every word has a certain frequency of energy. Some words, some thoughts are going to feel good. Some thoughts are not going to feel good, but it's going to feel horrible. Yeah? So our teachings, our sampradaya says that the Vedantic Upanishad thoughts, they make us feel good because they are totally in harmony with our true nature. Everything which is harmonious to our nature makes us at peace, relaxed, and we experience our very nature as ananda, peace and satisfaction. So we need to go through a process of education that begins with Shravana, goes through Manana, and then we need to do the Nidhidhyasana. You remember that formula that says that 5, 10, and 15. I don't know. You have an idea who brought that equation in our sampradaya? I don't know if it was Shimaya or if it was before Shimaya or if it was Dayananda, but it's not something like black and white, you know. But Nidhidhyasana is what takes more effort usually, depending on how purified we were at the beginning of this Vedantic process, you know. So some of us is going to need more time in Nidhidhyasana because our goal is to enjoy the fruits of self-knowledge, and that is only possible through Nidhidhyasana, that we're going to transform the way we feel, we think, and we feel this dualistic world of experience we live in. We need to replace those thoughts and negative. What are negative thoughts? Negative thoughts are thoughts that produce emotions that are painful, well, unpleasant, and then we call it negative. Thought is thought, but some thoughts are going to produce a feeling of dissatisfaction or pain or burden. So we need to look. This suffering grief, all these people suffering mentally with a lot of mental emotional problems need to know that those thought feelings, they are flags, you know, they are red flags to say, hey, you need to do some work here, but really deep work, not trying to put a band-aid in the situation or just sweep it under the carpet, but you need to do some deep work here. Burdening thoughts must be replaced by thoughts which are in harmony with your true nature, and then you're going to see the world from a different angle. That's called Santa Vritti. They are also called, more in line with what we usually are familiar with, is Sattvika Vrittis. Vrittis are thoughts or modifications in consciousness of sattvic nature, Sattvika Vrittis, you know, is a very beautiful thing because they are wise thoughts. Only a mind that's purified has enough sattva guna to produce sattvika vrittis, thoughts, you know. And it can happen like that, even not in contact with the scriptures, okay? And that is more or less the situation, as I understand, of the rishis. They have not been in contact with the scriptures, but somehow their minds are so sattvic, so contemplative, and they start just calling for this knowledge, asking questions, throwing those questions, those inquiries into the universe. And then that very sattvic mind, you know, start receiving like antenna these revelations, you know. Sattvika vritti means they are light in your mind. They sit light in your mind. They are not burden to you. No, they're beautiful. And such a mind, the Jñani enjoys, the Jñani that Swami Paramarthananda, that Krishna is describing in this verse. Asantasya mano bharat. Mind is a burden for a person who does not have peace of mind. Yeah. So is the mind a burden or a wonderful pleasure, you know, or satisfaction or peace? So if you have knowledge, the most technically to the point statement here was mind is a burden for a person who does not have self-knowledge. You understand? Self-knowledge produces peace of mind. If you don't have self-knowledge, there is no peace of mind. Without peace of mind, which means without self-knowledge, mind is indeed a burden. If there is no minmati in the mind, that strength, that equanimity, that power to that perspective that somehow makes the problems of life insignificant. If we don't have that, which is a byproduct of self-knowledge, everything will be baram. Mind is light. If mimat is there, life is the light of wisdom. Mind becomes a wonderful instrument with which we can study Vedanta, with which we can appreciate the beautiful side of ugly people even, you know. I can help. So therefore, you're always available. You can have nimati. And then you have those choice. Is it not correct? The programs are all from Gita. It is your choice. Yeah, it's the choice of entering the process, beginning this program of self-inquiry and self-knowledge. It is your choice. Do not curb your mind. Do not destroy your mind. And it's okay to put band-aids in your mind. Okay, sometimes the pain is so big that you want to take a painkiller, that does not address the problem, but removes the pain for some time. Do not destroy the mind. If you keep it all right, health, you enjoy life. The mind is going to be an instrument, a privilege you have. The mind was blessed by wisdom. The mind is a gift to begin with, and then it's blessed with self-knowledge. It is even more a gift from the Lord. Therefore, all those thoughts, disturbing thoughts, the unclean thoughts, impure thoughts, make a very, very straight and honest, integral look, inventory of all those things, and work to remove them. And everything will be fine. But most everybody does not have the ego is quite something that the ego does very rarely have purification, is purified enough to acknowledge, accept one's impurities, So it is big when we understand. I have a problematic mind, a disturbed mind. My thoughts are not clean, are not clear, and I need to go through this process to transform or educate my thoughts, and it takes enormous courage to begin this process. And this process is done by Nidhidhyasanam. Jñani enjoys this kind of mind. And how did they enjoy it? How did the Jñani come to enjoy this kind of mind? By removing the impurities of the mind. How so? Just by making an effort of going again and again and again back to the association with the scriptures that reveal your true nature on the conscious mind, and then the conscious mind is going to naturally cultivate and develop good vasanas that are going to neutralize the ignorance-based vasanas in your causal body. Here he says you're going to do that by remove rajasic vrittis, okay? So going more into the nuance of this process, you're going to see a lot of those thoughts, feelings and emotions, or feelings and emotions and attitudes based on some thoughts which are of rajasic nature. So we need to understand what is a rajasic nature. Is a thought that is usually self-centered, that wants to have what it desires, wants to avoid what it does not desire. And it's all about I, and that brings a tremendous stress to the body-mind, because it's an effort to control one's parabada. It's going to create disturbance because it's going to be frustrated in this process, And then the mind is going to suffer of this illness or sickness of samsara, it's kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and so on. So we need to keep an eye on our rajaguna. This is a way to look into it, I mean, this mental integrity is mostly important. We can analyze it deeply to see if my personality is mostly influenced by rajaguna or tamaguna or sattvaguna. If my personality is mostly influenced by sattvaguna, and then I'm not having a disturbed mind. I have internalized these teachings to an extent that life is good and I feel peaceful. No? But if I'm suffering, if I'm having disturbing thoughts and emotions and feelings and attitudes, I need to be very honest with myself without putting myself down, very important. And know that we need to go through this, not only Shravana, but Manana and Nidhidhyasana, because there is no other way but our conscious effort to purify is only possible to the extent that we assimilate more and more clearly. This question I received from this student of mine in Brazil, it says, I already know what I am and my knowledge is clear, but still I'm not enjoying. And then this easily can create a confusion that the person says, no, I know everything that I should know, but somehow I'm not enjoying the fruits of self-knowledge. And then it means there is something wrong with this Vedanta, with these Upanishads teachings, you understand? No, I mean, you know what you know, I am Brahman, but are you sure that this knowledge is as firm as you are suggesting? Are you sure that it's a doubtless knowledge? Because if it is really doubtless, that doubtless knowledge has the power to neutralize a lot of these ignorant-based vasanas in the causal body, in the subconscious mind. Because here you are living from a new perspective. I'm so clear that I am consciousness of limitless nature, and this knowledge is a doubtless knowledge. And then the subconscious mind, the vasanas, they are going to be purified by this very process of developing a certainty, a firm conviction in regards to what I am. And that is only possible in the conscious mind going through Shravana, Manana, and Nidhidhyasanam. How did the Jnani achieve this? By Nidhidhyasana. And what is Nidhidhyasana? Applying the knowledge, looking into our situations of life, the way we respond to life in the light of Vedantic teachings. Some intellects are more brilliant than others. Some intellects are not so brilliant. So like some physical bodies, some are very health and energetic, and some are weaker and on health. So just enjoy whatsoever body mind you have. Never compare. Rather than compare with others. Therefore, Santa, Rajasam, and means tamasa vritti, also moha vritti. Okay, so I don't know what he, and therefore Santa, he went into his Sanskrit here, but we can infer that Nidhidhyasana is the way to go, and we need to be honest, okay? A lot of people believe, oh, I got everything yet, it's okay. Oh, but I'm not enjoying the fruit. It's okay, I know that I am awareness. I know I'm consciousness. I know I'm not my impurities. I know I'm not my vasanas, you know? Okay, good luck. And this Nidhidhyasana has to be continued, you know, one way or the other. And if it does not purify, it means there are some huge obstacles that had to be looked upon, rather than say, I don't need to look into anything because I know I am consciousness. I know I'm not my impurities. So Vidyaranya Swami in Panchadas say Sattva Vritti is called Santa Vritti, Rajasa Vritti is called Gora Vritti, Tamasa Vritti is called Muda Vritti. Delusion is the ultimate negative outcome of a mind under the suffering of the disease of samsara. So you go through a lot of disturbing mental, emotional experience as a samsari, you know, desires, fears, anger, anxiety, expectation, frustration, you know, and you go jealous, competition, you go through all that turmoil, it's so painful. And then the last thing, the final destruction of one's mind is called delusion. Because delusion makes the mind in such a condition that it can no longer discriminate anything, can no longer discriminate right from wrong, dharma from adharma, and so on. Okay. It is lovely, huh? This Gita. Are you guys enjoying? I am. Anything from you? You two? You three?
Honesty and earnestness are
Yeah,
required on an ongoing basis.
earnestness.
Yeah.
So Nisargadatta Maharaj used to use this term again and again. All you need is earnestness. No?
Mm.
Honesty, yeah. Okie dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Yeah. So a huge desire for liberation is what we need. And that requires also Nidhidhyasanam, because you can have a burning mumukshutva, a burning desire, but if you don't have a means by which to achieve that level of enjoyment of this knowledge, it's more difficult. And the point here is we need to go beyond Shravana into Manana and Nidhidhyasana. Okie dokie. So we meet on Monday, Tuesday, we conclude the other text. And then I think I will most probably suggest we follow Lin's suggestion and we stay with the Gita until we complete this chapter 6. Namaste.
Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you.
Thank you, Orlando.